Being a woman, a lot of the problems we have in our relationships stem from a lack of understanding. In other words, we have no idea why guys act the way they do. In fact, they often don't know why they act the way they do, so it's no surprise we have trouble deciphering their responses. However, before we begin to explore these fundamental differences, it's worth taking a step back and looking at ourselves in the mirror, because if we don't learn to finally accept who and what we are, we will never be able to make the necessary changes to become the woman men adore. The biggest problem we have right now is our perception of ourselves. Women's lib has been taken to a whole new level, and from simply meaning that women should have equal rights to men in society, it has come to mean that women should not be women and they should act more like men. The reason for this is quite simple. Men are competitive by nature, women are not. Therefore, to succeed in the workplace, more and more women have had to become just as competitive as men, and in many cases more so because they start out with a handicap in the eyes of the competition. They are women. Unfortunately, though, many women have taken this competition to a whole new level, and the drive to succeed has convinced them that being a woman means being weak, so they have to shut off their feelings and act more like the guys they work with. Sadly, women are grossly mistaken, because our femininity is in no way a weakness, but, in fact, a strength, as it is the one thing that allows us to influence men much more effectively than any argument or competition ever will. Men are disarmed by a woman's softness simply because men were designed to fight and women were designed to nurture. How to become the girl that men adore. How to become the girl that men adore. Women offer advice, men offer solutions. What many women don't seem to understand is that men are completely different. They process information differently, they relate to one another differently, they express themselves differently. However, a woman who understands these differences will become a priceless gem that men will adore. John Gray, in Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, explains it wonderfully. Love is magical, and it can last, if we remember our differences. In fact, it is these exact differences between men and women that spark passion and love, because otherwise men wouldn't need women and vice versa. Understanding men. Yes, it is quite possible to understand men, and it is probably easier for us to understand them than the other way around. And no, you haven't stepped into an episode of The Twilight Zone. First of all, you need to understand that men are primarily driven by success and accomplishment. They value tangible results, efficiency and power, and everything they do is geared towards proving themselves. Men won't sit around and talk about their feelings, instead they prefer to engage in competitive activities where they can win. It gives them the chance to show off their superiority over other males. How to become the girl that men adore. You won't find a man reading the latest issue of People or Cosmo, but instead he will read the sports section of the paper or the news. He cares little about romance novels because he is more interested in things rather than feelings. And he likes things that help him express power, whether a fancy sports car or the latest gadgets and gizmos.